Hello everyone, my name is Zaleion, and welcome to my personal favorite Roblox game, Superstar Racers. This was created by ConeCat, who if you don't know, is the same person who created Superblock 64 and Super Duper Checkpoint, which are both really good games as well. Moving back to the main point at hand, however, I really like Superstar Racers. From the gameplay to the level design to the music, it's just an incredibly well-made experience that has a lot of care put into it. Unfortunately though, Superstar Racers doesn't have all that many people playing it. I mean, averaging 300 players probably isn't too bad for a Roblox game. It'll have more than Multiverse when that shit's done in May, right? Oh yeah, I have a fun fact. Remember that Doors video I uploaded back in October last year? The one I'm not really proud of nowadays? Zaleion and I actually found this game before that, and while we didn't spend much time, and I was positive that I wouldn't play it again, here I am in February of 2025, still playing, having overspent 10 hours and counting of time on it. But yeah, I just wanted to make a video where I pretty much just talk about the entirety of this game in order to get more supporters, and also because I'm really passionate about it. So to start off, let's talk about the gameplay. If you've seen any gameplay of Superstar Racers beforehand, you'll probably think it's some overly complicated parkour racing game, but I can assure you, with enough practice and time, you'll be a professional before you know it. There aren't that many controls to remember, honestly. You can run, double jump, air dive, and taunt, which really doesn't do much except add to your score and stop your momentum for a second. Kinda like Pizza Tower. And speaking of momentum, you'll need a lot of it in order to get first in races. You're able to wind up speed by either holding the dive button while standing still to start a peel out, or by running in a circle a few times. I do this a few times, I'm not gonna lie. It may look stupid, but it works. What I will say though, is that doing stuff in the air does take your momentum away a little bit, so be careful when you're showboating. You can easily lose first place because of it, I would know. Additionally, each level has its own obstacles and unique gimmicks to deal with, and you'll be able to swing from bars, down some balloons, and travel through these wind tunnels. I'm pretty sure that's what they are. But anyways, it's time to move on to our next segment, the levels. As of me writing this script, Superstar Racers currently has 13 vastly different levels, all with their own special gimmick to deal with. Yes, I know there's 12 levels shown in the intro, but in my defense, it was literally added this month, so you know. I gotta include it in here, but whatever. To start off, we'll be talking about the first level ever shown for this game, also known as Sweet Speed Ray. I really like Sweet Speed Ray. It's just a super fun and creative first level. It doesn't feel too long, the design of it is obviously, you know, themed around sweets, so you can jump from different chocolate bars to ice cream sandwiches, all while running by lollipops and donuts and all types of other stuff. When I played Sweet Speed Ray for the first time, I couldn't even finish it, but now, it's genuinely one of my favorites, period. I love the music for it too, although it just might be a placeholder for now. Who knows? I sure don't. Up next is Midnight Rush, and when I tell you that this is my favorite level in the entire game, I mean it. I love the vaporwave aesthetic that it has. I love how fluid it feels to play. I absolutely adored the music for it. Midnight Rush can be a very difficult level to beat because of its tight platforming. It was really hard for me as well, I can't lie. But once you get the patterns down and when you learn about the shortcuts for it, it's so fun. Everything about this level is amazing, and I know that sounds cheesy as hell, but it's just extremely well made, man. And you feel so good about yourself when you figure the routes out. Our next level is Magma Bomb Blitz, and this one is also really fun to play. There's landmines spaced out throughout the entire level, and you have to maneuver around them while also trying to go as fast as possible. There's also buttons that you're required to press in order to blow up specific walls and get through the level, because if you don't, you'll be blocked off, wasting both time and your position in the race. I think this was the first level I played in this game, and it was just not fun at all, especially with the mines, but I do enjoy it a lot more now that I have more experience with it. The fourth level is Retro Raceway, and it's inspired by old Roblox. Who would have guessed, right? Jokes aside though, this is a pretty good level. The gimmick for it is that you have a bomb and a trowel to be used, and you do need them in order to progress, let me tell you. The bomb launches you upwards while also keeping your forward momentum, and the trowel places the platform underneath you, so the combination of both is extremely handy for crossing large gaps. Don't think you can spam these to win though. There's a short cooldown for each of the items, but at least you're able to make some shortcuts of your own if you use them right. Level 5 is Underwater Highway, and while it isn't one of my absolute favorite levels in Superstar Racers, that doesn't mean it's bad by any means. This level's gimmick is that you have an air meter and are floatier, since, you know, you're underwater. Luckily, there's air bubbles that will instantly refill you to max, and the level as a whole is pretty forgiving at times, so you can take it easy in some parts. Unfortunately though, some of the platforming is weirdly precise for no reason, and I do struggle with it at times. I know, shocker. And there is a few occasions where I can't beat it, much less on lap 2. That's right, I said lap 2. If you have a certain amount of time left when you complete any level, I'm pretty sure it's at least a minute. You're able to start a second lap, risking your win streak just to flex on other players and raise your score even higher than usual. Lap 2 also plays its own music, and it lets you know that you're running out of time by having a ticking clock in the background and putting the timer in the middle when you're down to your last 10 seconds. I completely didn't expect something like this to be added, but it is a welcome surprise for sure. The rush and anxiety it gives me is no joke, and the best comparison I can give to it is Pizza Tower's Lap 2, which I'm pretty sure this is inspired by. Sorry for getting sidetracked though, back to the levels. Our next level is Soda Can Canyon, and the setting and music is directly taken from Super Block 64. Remember how I talked about that? And I gotta say, that's really cool. Being able to translate an environment from one genre of game to another seamlessly definitely deserves praise. And while I haven't played much of Super Block 64 myself, I know it was a great decision to make. There isn't a gimmick for this level, although that doesn't ruin it by any means. It's just a solid level all around, even if I do have difficulty in some of the parts at times. Level 7 is called Bedroom, and I really enjoyed it a lot. Not only does it play music from Amori, which is one of my favorite RPGs ever, but the environment is really nice to look at. There's blocks and toys placed around, as well as having giant posters put on the walls. I also like how fun it feels to be a small object in this big room, and I kinda wish there was a full world like this just to run around without having to race. There isn't a gimmick for this one, but to be honest, I can't really think of anything that could work for it. Space Station, or Level 8, is a pretty fun level to play. However, it does feel like it's slightly on the longer side and does drag a bit, but maybe I'm just not fast enough or something, I don't know. The gimmick of this level is that you literally ride stars around in order to get to the next section. The stars do have a timer before kicking you off, which is why there's rings around that replenish it. Sometimes the normal platforms do feel a little spaced out from each other, pun not intended, and you've got to make the most of your momentum in order to make it. Good level. I just feel like it should be a tiny bit faster, honestly. Up next is Slime Factory, and I'm gonna be so real. I hated this level when I first played it. There's slime on certain walls that let you stick to it, and then jump off another direction, but for some reason, I just couldn't get it immediately. It took me 3 attempts of the level to even beat it in a race. Probably makes sense. I had to play it so many times to know how it worked compared to the other levels, and now that I do have it figured out, it's one of my top levels, and it feels so good to get some of the jumps and timing right. Also, great environment. That is definitely a slime factory. Welcome to Flooded City, also known as level 10. This isn't a bad level, but it does feel slightly weaker compared to the other ones. The environment is really well made, and it is pretty detailed, but I did find myself being confused as to where it's supposed to go at some parts. There isn't a gimmick for this level, and that's totally fine. While this level is fun, and I definitely know how to get through it now, it isn't on my favorites, unfortunately. Our next level is Surfer's Paradise, and I love this one. Its environment is beach themed, it's fast paced, and you get to ride a surfboard throughout the level at a few points. Its music did change with the recent big update, but honestly, it still works really well, and I can't complain at all. I found some ways to skip past some chunks of the level, and I think it might be some of my favorite skips in this entire game because of how cool it feels. Level 12 is Lucid Lane, and while it doesn't have any type of gimmick, it's still really fun because of how much you can skip in it. The design is very well made, and even though I did struggle a lot in this one at first, I really like playing it nowadays. I think the music made for Lucid Lane is also really good and is extremely fitting. If Lucid Lane ever showed up in the vote for the next map, I definitely wouldn't be against picking it. And finally, our most recent and 13th level is Winter Wonderland. I like this level for its setting and music, but the gimmick does feel a little bit off. There's ice blocks scattered about the level, and you have to touch most of them in order to progress, but they completely stop you in your tracks, and you have to spam jump in order to break out. The level as a whole is shorter than the other ones. I will say though, I did finish Lap 2 on Winter Wonderland on my first time playing it, so you know, I'm kind of a professional gamer. Alright. That's all of the levels that are currently in Superstar Racers as of this video. If any new levels come out shortly after I upload this one, I think I'll lose my mind, I'm not gonna lie. Final thing I will talk about today are the events. Yes, you heard me right. Every time you load into a level, there's a very small chance for it to have a modifier. I'll name them off real quick. You have Icy Feet, 2 times gems, less time, higher speed, the fog is coming, no checkpoints, landmine, move or die. And that's all the events. And that's also what I'll wrap this video up with, since honestly, I don't really feel like talking about the badges. If you want to see them, click on the game yourself. I'm tired. But that's it for me. I'm sorry for taking so long to finish this video. The last one is literally going to be 21 days old when this comes out. But this is Zaleion, signing out. Thank you so much for watching and supporting my videos. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!